Alrighty. So you are at week one attendance. And for this week one attendance, I just want to clarify what we talked about in the last video from week zero, just the different options. And as I worked through this work and modified my instruction, I really questioned whether I should give the option of option two here, but just to be clear about what this is I think and I believe, based on student experience and my experience, that the best way to move into week one is having set up your local dev environment and then completing day in one and two. But I want to give the option in case anyone runs into issues. I don't want you to not work through this first day or two in the Udemy course and therefore in our course, if you ran into some challenges getting your local dev environment set up. But I will say that I want you to know going in that it's going to create a little more copying and pasting, a little more file setting up, and I've put some notes in the document that you're going to see for your first assignment. Okay, so I want you to know that that is just kind of the nature of it. But after day one and two, then you will have to have worked through that. Now, having said that, in this first week, your Thursday night item will be Dev 1. And then the following week, our second week of the semester, that Monday night item will be day 2. And then on Thursday of next week will be our Learn Together. Okay. So, and by that Learn Together, you will have needed to jump over anything that got in your way around getting this local environment set up. So hopefully you're reaching out for help. Again, Discord, reach out for me directly, come into office hours once the semester starts so that we can get you the help that you need to set that up. Okay, so I just wanted to, because I did talk about, and I want to clarify, because on the last video, I did all that coding locally, right? But in the series that you completed, just to kind of give you a little context, when you did the join and create, right? When you did this out on GitHub, this is what I mean when in this week I'm saying you can complete this in that replit.it that you're going to see in Dr. Angela's course that she will use for her first 15 days. And then use that GitHub user interface to create files and do commits, do that GitHub workflow. Now, having said that, it kind of leads naturally into this first day. Okay. So the day one of the boot camp of her, 100 days. This is your day one. And there definitely is a bit of work. And I noticed that since I wrote the instruction last semester, she had added something new that I just noticed now. And what this is, and I just want to talk about it here so that way when I get to the specific instruction for day one, you already understand this, hopefully. So one of the things she did, and she did it right here, is she added these coding rooms for the interactive exercises. Okay, so she has you, and you can do this. It's completely free. It's not an additional cost. You can log in to that, and when you have the interactive coding exercises, which we have quite a few this time, and we have some kind of in the next following days. So for that case, even for those of you working locally, you probably want to go ahead and set these up. That way you can grab the starting code. Okay. I actually have already signed up. So let me actually go in and show you what I mean. So in day one, there's 4 exercises. Again, this is like if you're working locally, then you're creating these files locally. If you're working through here, and either way, I'm just going to go ahead and click into this item. And this gives you, right, your instruction of what you need to do, the expected output. And I'm going to minimize that for a minute. And I think, is it my submission? Yeah, so I haven't submitted any code, but if you go to the bottom, the assignment workspace is when you actually get the code. Okay. So for this example, right, here's where you would write the code. Now, when you're writing code here and doing it, right, this is good, this is writing, but if you're doing it locally, all you have to do is copy that, right, copy that line, and then I tell you in the instruction what I want you to create. So this is just a little preview, right? So as an example, I'll have you create for that first interactive one, EXP1, right? And then what you could do is just paste that starting code here. Notice there actually is, you actually for PEP 8 need to put a space there, but you'll get used to this as we're coding through. Okay, so I just want you to know, and for those of you, and again, the reason I'm giving this particular example is so as you move in to that day one, it'll make hopefully more sense. If you're somebody that has chosen this path, then what you will do is you're going to go to Replit. Actually, no, we're already there. Yeah, so actually for you, you'll do all your coding in here, get this all done. And when you have working code, right, then you will copy that working code and you'll go to GitHub, right? You'll go to R95, you'll go into your private repo, okay? And in this case, you're going to add a file. You're going to create a new file. Now, in this case, I haven't pushed and we haven't set up that folder yet. Okay, that I showed you how to do in the exercises. But in that case, you would be creating a new file. Now, the reason I'm not going to do this is I'm already locally set up, but just, this would be 100 days, right? And if I hit /, then I would say ex1.py, right? Now, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to do this, but this is just the example, right? You could paste that code in there once you have working code. Now, the reason I'm kind of setting this up is just to hopefully have you understand a bit about the setup here if you do need to take this second option. Okay, so again, you're writing the code over into the coding room, you're doing the assignment, right? And then you're copying that code on to a new file you're creating over here if you're working on Replit. And if you're working locally, then you write all your code here. Okay. I'm not going to do this because this will, now, by the way, I could fix it. It's not a big deal, but because I've written it locally, and this is kind of part of what I want you to understand is once you clone and work locally, then only change your code in the local environment. Okay. And then pushing code out to GitHub is what you will be doing. So again, if you're taking the option day one and day two, you can do. It is a little more work just to kind of keep track of everything. But just know what I've done when you get into the next item is I've given you detailed instructions on what kind of files you have to create, what you need to copy, but it can get a little bit, just it's a little bit copy and pasting and keeping everything on track. Okay, so let me go back with the last thing that I kind of talked about, which is really making sure that you're writing good code, good styled code, right? And notice because I have what I showed you before, which is I have the linter, right? I have my linter set up. I'm using, like I showed, the Pi code style. You could actually copy code to a website to check for PEP 8. Okay, but notice the problem, and the problem is really very simple. And if you just click on it, or you don't have to click on it, you just read it. Block comment should start with, oh, okay, right. So what it wants you to do is what I showed before, is it just wants you to put a space in there. And what you can do is if you're not sure why you're getting the error, that is a great place to go post onto Discord. Okay, is some of those issues that you may be running into that you're not sure what they are. But trust me, there's, the sooner you write good formed code, the easier it will become. And I really learned this by watching the students in that 9-week course, because the sooner I started doing it, I wish I had done it sooner rather than later, because it's just good practice to get into, because coding is a lot about muscle memory and just getting your body used to writing code. And when you write good code from the beginning, it's easier rather than to get some bad habits and have to fix them. Okay, now what do I want to see on your reply? What I want to see on your reply, the video I'm recording right now, is, right, do you have any questions before we get started? This would be a good place to do that. Do you understand? Have you done a little research about PEP 8? If not, do a little research about PEP 8, like I told you before, right? Do some PEP 8 style guide. Definitely check out that How to Write Beautiful Code. Maybe I'll just put a link to that, right? Just so you can understand some of the basics. Max file length is probably the one that gets most people. It's the one we had the most discussion about last semester. And we could definitely talk and give you techniques, because when you write a long line, it'll give you an error message. Generally, you can wrap it in parentheses and take care of it then. But I'll talk more about that later in the semester. Anyway, any of that, you can reply to here, and then you're ready to actually watch the last video from me before you're ready to get started with your first actual day in the Udemy course, the day one. Have a great one.